guys, today I have a review on some Juno & Co. new products. One is their powder and then their line of brushes. So I have been testing these out a few days and kind of already made my opinion about them. So I thought I'd go ahead and share with you guys my opinion. I do not have price points on this. This was kind of like a preview before they launch. So I can't really, tell you guys how much they're gonna be. If I do find that information, I will leave it in the box below or update it or put it across the screen depending on when they put it on their website. Also, this was sent to me for review purpose by them, so just make that clear, but all opinions, as always, are my own and completely honest. So I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts. So this is the box that it came in. This is the powder, and it says that it's no caking, no creasing, and no flashback. This is called the Juno Blur because it's supposed to blur your imperfections. It has 20 grams of product, which is a lot. Juno & Co. usually is very, very affordable. Their sponges are super cheap. All their things are very, very affordable. Their palettes, things like that. So I feel like this is going to be in a very affordable kind of price point, and hopefully it will. The shade that I got is Brighten. I say shade because I think that they might come out with other shades as well. Right now, I think that maybe this is just their starter one and it's called Brighten. So what it says is that it has a mesh on the powder, and to dip your sponge in there, if you're gonna bake, take off the excess powder and put your baking, or to use a brush and dust all over your complexion to mattify. So this is a more mattifying powder, and it is a brightening powder. So this is what the product looks like. It is a square jar that's like frosted. It seems like it's plastic, and then the top, as you can see, is getting very dirty. It's like a mirror reflective rose gold. I do feel like it's very beautiful, even though it's going to get hellified dirty. And as you can see down there, it says that the shade is Brighten, and the shade is kind of like a pale yellow shade. So you twist off the cap like this, and then it does have a stopper in there. So as I don't know if you guys, okay, yeah, you definitely see that. It's a stopper in there. So it kind of holds the product down, and then it does have the mesh, very similar to the Huda Beauty kind of powder. So you do have the mesh in there, which I have to be honest, I really, really enjoy the mesh, especially in the Huda Beauty one. It's very, very, I don't know, it's very convenient. I like the fact that it only, lets out a certain amount of product, and it looks more like it doesn't like just seep through there, so I just really enjoy the mesh. So this is what the shade looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it here on my hand so you guys can see. I don't think that this will suit every skin tone, just because it might give kind of a white cast to those with darker skin complexions, depending. But on my skin, which is more of a medium skin, I do feel like it does blend in. I did take flash photography, and I feel like it doesn't give flashback. Let me go ahead and take another one just in case, because I don't know where I put that picture. So let's go ahead and, so yeah, you can definitely see here that it doesn't give flashback. I do have a little bit of, just like the oil itself peeking through my forehead, but it doesn't give like that white cast kind of flashback photography. So as far as the no creasing or no caking, I do feel like I like this powder for all over my face. I do not enjoy it for underneath my eyes. I did not bake with it because I do not bake. I just have way too many lines and way too dry under eyes to bake with. But I did set my powder, I did set my concealer with this powder, and I did not like it. It just felt way too mattifying for underneath the eyes, and I do feel like it just looks kind of crepey underneath there, like it's missing some kind of moisture. For those with oily skin, I think that they will really enjoy this just because of how mattifying it is as an all over powder. I don't think that if you have any kind of fine lines or dryness underneath your eyes, you would like this for underneath the eyes. To me, this is a really great powder for all over the face. It kind of gives that blurring effect, and if you have oily skin, you'll definitely like it just because of how mattifying it is. If you have combination skin, then this would be nice for more of that oily T-zone. And if you have dry skin, then I would definitely stay away from this just because of how mattifying it is. It just seems like it won't be like your cup of tea. Hopefully they will come out with more of a glowy kind of powder or a more hydrating powder, one that's more, more geared towards those with dry skin, because something that's this matte is just not going to be that friendly to those with dry dry skin. So that is my take on that powder. Next up, they have some new brushes, and they're kind of like a baby pink. So the handle itself is kind of like coiled looking. Hopefully you guys can see that on there. It's kind of like, it looks like they took a wrap and wrapped it with coil, like baby rose gold pink coil. And then the tip here is kind of like a rubberized kind of, but it doesn't feel like sticky or anything. It's just like a rubbery kind of baby pink, and it has their name on there. The one thing that I wish that they had done with these brushes is put the number or the names on them, just because I feel like that would be very helpful, like if you were, you know, telling people about certain things. That's something that I really like about like Luxie brushes or MAC brushes, is that you can say like, hey, this is a 242, or this is the, you know what I mean? Like you can actually give a description of the brush. So that was the only thing that I felt like was lacking on here. The brushes themselves are synthetic brushes, and they did send me their whole new collection, so I'm going to go through each brush. When you get the brushes themselves, they come in containers like this with the name actually here on the bottom, and also it's actually like placed really beautifully inside of here. So it does have the name on the boxes themselves, just not the brushes. So here I have a little label from inside one of those cases, and it has all the name of the brushes and the number. So I'm just gonna go through each one and kind of give you my take on each one as I use them. So this is number one. This is the large taper powder brush. I feel like this brush is really nice for applying powder, like especially if you're into the whole buffing technique, or also for a blush or bronzer, you can definitely use them. Remember that brushes is something that you can use multiple functions. You don't necessarily have to go by what it tells you to. Whatever works for you and, you know, functions for you, go for it. Like, don't ever think that there's rules to makeup, or someone can tell you like, no, that's a blush brush, you have to do that. You know, do whatever makes you happy and whatever works for you. If it is a blush brush and it applies your foundation beautifully, screw it. Put on your foundation with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, so this is their powder brush. I felt like when they said large tapered powder, I thought it was gonna be like a little bit more like voluminous, like more poofy, kind of like this one by Beauty Junkies. So you can definitely see the size comparison there. I enjoy more of a bigger brush for powder, so this to me would definitely be more for blush. I would use it more for blush or bronzer, things like that, just because I feel like it would fit a little bit better around my face. And I don't have a very large face, so someone who had like maybe a more, you know, skin to cover on their face would definitely, you know, find this really, really small. So just a little forewarning there. So the next one is their detailed tapered powder brush. This is number 2. This one is just a little bit more tapered and taken in. This is the number 1, and this is the number 2. This one is just a little bit more tapered. I feel like this is really good for underneath the eyes, to set underneath there. I did really like this as well for like highlighting. I feel like it would do a very, very nice job as well for those. So this one you could definitely find like different functions, even also to apply a blush if you wanted to. The next one is the number 3, which is their angled powder and what is that, contour brush. So this one is the one that's more on an angle. I really, really like this one for blush itself and for contouring or bronzing. I really, really love this kind of brush. This kind of angled brush is one of my all-time favorites, especially with synthetics on the cheeks to pick up product. Next up is the oval detailed blender brush. This is a very, you know, kind of like flat, small brush. And this I like more for like getting that very, very chiseled cheek in there. Maybe also, you know, if you're going to be contouring your nose or around your forehead, that is what I would mainly use this for. I don't really feel like I would use it for anything else. Let me know down below if you would use it for anything else, but for me this would definitely just be more of a like contour kind of brush. I don't really see myself using this for anything else. Next up is their new smudger brush, which is this little bad boy right here. And I really enjoy this brush. This reminds me of like a smaller MAC 239. It really packs on just eyeshadow very nicely all over the lid or in smaller areas. And I like this because it's way smaller than the 239, which let me see if I can find my 239. Oh, where you at? Where you at? Okay. So here's the 239 by MAC, and then here is the Juno & Co. As you can see, it's like its baby sister. So I think that if you have really small eyes, kind of like I do, or hooded eyes, and you want to apply like multiple colors on your lid, this thing is amazing for that. I actually used the Ooh La La palette the other day and did like a different pinks kind of going, you know, cascading through my eye, and I love this for that. So it does really pack on product. It's very precise and it's very small. So this, out of the ones that I've shared so far, would definitely be a must-have, like that I would recommend definitely go out and buy it because it is that good. Next up is their fluffy blending brush, which is this one right here. This is a nice brush as far as like blending goes. I don't feel like it will pack on color, but it is really nice to like blend out that crease area. I do wish it was a tiny bit more dense, just because it seems like if you apply too much pressure, it is very flimsy. So this is more just for that blending, especially if you're just like blending those edges and things like that. I wouldn't apply this like for product from the get-go. Like I would definitely use a more denser crease brush and apply it, and then use this one to just blend those edges out. So that is what I would use this for. But I definitely feel like they're missing another fluffy crease brush that's a little bit more dense than this one. Next brush in here is the number 7 Precise eyeliner brush, which is kind of like these pointed eyeliner brushes. Sadly, this just did not work for me. I don't know if you guys can see, hopefully it will focus on it. The bristles themselves kind of don't go together. Even when you apply product to them, they stay like kind of flayed out. And with brushes like this, you want that tip to really, you know, close up and be together. Like for example, the MAC 210, you can definitely see the difference between these, where this one, like when I apply product to it, all the hairs stick together, while this one, it stayed fluffy, and that is a no-go for your eye area. You want to be very precise when you're applying eyeliner, whether it be in the waterline or on your lid, and this brush is just, it just did not do that whatsoever. So I feel like that one just needs some improvement, maybe to be a little bit thinner, less sprayed out like that, and just for the hairs to come together. So this one, out of all of them, I would definitely say was like the biggest fail. Next up is the flat packer brush. This is another one of those really nice brushes. I really like this one. If there was another one that I would recommend, it would definitely be this one. This one is a little bit bigger than the other one, quite a bit. This is kind of like a longer, more extended. This reminds me a lot of the, where is it? So this reminds me a lot of the Anastasia 18 or the 242 by MAC. It's just like a smaller version of it, just a slightly thinner sister of them. So I really enjoy this one as well. I feel like it's really nice for like cutting the crease or packing product all over the lid. It does a really nice job. I did use this like even today to apply shadow all over my lid, in a cream shadow, and I really like the way it functions and works. So if you're looking for maybe a good dupe or a good alternative to one of these two, then definitely maybe try this one. This might be the new affordable version of them, and I do like the way it is very nicely, precisely cut out in that kind of round form as these two are. And then the next one is the angled blending brush. This one just kind of really packs on into the corner. This brush isn't like one of my favorites. I've never really liked these kind of like weird looking edged brushes like this. What I really use them for is to just, grabbing the wrong thing. I use them more to like pack on product, especially like in the crease or edges there. It just really packs it on. That is mainly my function for that one. And other than that, I don't really tend to use those types of brushes. And then the last one is the angled liner and brow brush. I did fill in my brush my brush. I did fill in my eyebrows with this, and it is a really nice one. This is more of a wide one, so that is something to look out for if you're someone who wants more wider strokes, or if you have bigger eyebrows, then this might go for you, or if you want to just fill them in faster. Because look at how large this is, and I'm gonna go ahead and compare this to the Luxie Small Angled, so you can definitely see the difference on these. So this one here is like way more precise, and then this one, as you can see, is bigger. So with this one you get more precision, but it's gonna take you a little longer, and with this one it's just more like, I think that this would work a lot better with someone who already has eyebrows, or you know, is very like, has expertise of making their eyebrows. If you don't have, you know, a lot of eyebrow hairs, or someone like me who has a lot of hair and just wants to fill in those gaps really fast, then this would work nicely. If not, you might want something more precise. So those are my opinions and thoughts on this. I'm sorry this video is so freaking long. I just really wanted to be very thorough as far as which brushes had worked for me, their functions, and maybe what you should or shouldn't pick up. So let me know if this was helpful to someone. I will try to link all the products, or at least their page, down below, and maybe write all the prices down below. Thank you guys as always for watching, for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, hit that little red button, subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you stick around and watch my videos if you're interested. I do reviews and demos, and get ready with me, unboxings, a little bit of everything. And yeah, and also my social media is down below if you're interested in following me. I share a little bit more of my private home life there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.